I thank my colleague from Louisiana. Obviously, as a co-sponsor and working with Mr. Markey, it's a very important bill. And I think, Mr. Speaker, when you look at this, you realize this is bipartisanship in its essence. And we have seen a lot of complaints, both in the press and in the public, about members of Congress not getting together. Here you have a gentleman from Massachusetts, a gentleman from Florida getting together to co-sponsor a bill, and it's, as he's pointed out, it has overwhelmingly supported by the members here in the House. And so I look forward to its passage almost by acclamation. And I commend my colleague, Mr. Markey from Massachusetts, for what he's doing. He and I are co-chair and founder. We found the Congressional Cystic Fibrosis Caucus along some time ago. And so we're working, I think, in the Lord's work in here. Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to my entire speech may be part of the record.
Without objection.
A lot of what's been said is also in my speech, so I don't necessarily want to reiterate it again. Simply put, this bill improves the access to clinical trials, will simply allow people with rare diseases like cystic fibrosis to participate in clinical trials that provide nominal compensation without, and this is the key part, without the risk of losing their health coverage. Mr. Wyden on the Senate sponsored the bill S-1674, and Mr. Markey and I as H.R. 2866. I think all of us realize that clinical trials are an essential part of the process as researchers develop new treatments for diseases. When testing treatments for rare diseases in particular, researchers need a significant percent of the patient's population for each disease to participate in the various trials. And because of this, they often struggle to recruit patients. They just can't find enough. For example, let's go to the University of Alabama at Birmingham. It houses one of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation's largest CF rare care center with over 450 patients. The University of Alabama at Birmingham conducts numerous clinical trials on promising new treatments for CF patients, but when they begin looking for CF patients to participate in these trials for a new drug that some believe would be a game changer in the treatment of CF, they were only able to find 4 patients who met the trial protocol criteria. With these small numbers, the integrity of the study can be compromised if patients are not enrolled promptly. Enrollment becomes further compromised when patients choose to not participate because their SSI and Medicaid eligibility becomes at stake. So, Mr. Speaker, we've come a long way in treating CF. In the 50s, children with CF usually didn't last past the age of kindergarten. Now, with all the advances in medical research, we can proudly say that CF patients live much longer and have more productive lives with a median age of 37. This is thanks in part to clinical trials that have brought effective new drugs, therapies to those with cystic fibrosis. So in the next 2 to 3 years, we will need more than 7,000 CF patients to participate in clinical drug trials. 3,000 CF patients participated in trials last year. The bill that we have here on the floor will help new therapies move quickly from the laboratory into the hands of the patients who need them, and will also actually reduce the administrative costs of disenrolling a beneficiary from SSI and Medicaid 1 month and re-enrolling the beneficiary the very next month. Importantly, the Congressional Budget Office, as pointed out, has determined this bill has very low real cost to the federal government, if none. So I ask my colleagues to join me in passage of this bill. As pointed out, we have over 120 co-sponsors. The Association of Clinical Research Organizations have endorsed it, the Biotechnology Industry Organizations, Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, Genetic Alliance, National Health Council, the National Organization of Rare Disorders, and Pharma and the Research of America. So passage of this bill is a long step. It's a long time in coming. It'll improve Americans' lives. It also has, as pointed out, no real cost. It's a simple fix to a current law that will save lives today. I urge its passage. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.